Hello and welcome to Bright Blue Innovation. I'm your host, Lidia Paurinska. Today's episode brings you an overview of the IBC 2018 conference that was held at the RAI Center in Amsterdam, Netherlands. All of us at Bright Blue Innovation are pleased to be a media sponsor of this event as the premier broadcast technology and content creation technology event for all of Europe, the Middle East and Africa. This year's conference was 51st annual event, and they started their second half of the century with 55,000 attendees, which is the largest audience in their history. In order to accommodate the crowds and the increased number of exhibitors, the event had expanded footprint for conference and exhibition area. As a leading conference in the industry, the show features diverse presentations with 37% of the industry professionals who were speaking being women presenters and authors. The event featured a pretty even mix of the companies participating in the content creation aspect of the industry and the media distribution side. Our episode today will focus on some of the technology that was presented that is part of the content creation ecosystem. The episode opens with a one-on-one interview by Bright Blue Innovation editor Angel Scott, talking to IBC CEO Mike Crimp. Next, we are highlighting several companies that were showing new technology for the content creation process in the expo area of the show. We start with the Blackmagic design, showing their new 4K cinema camera. Blackbox then showed their 4K KVM solution for both small and large works group to be able to share expensive CPUs and GPUs computing resources. AMD shows off their new Threadripper CPU and advanced computing using their new GPU-based video cards. IBM Watson Media Services then gives us overview of their integrated AI solution that are targeted at the media creation and VOD marketplace. Phabrix and their new test and measurement equipment for 12G, IP, 4K and HDR content delivery. The episode concludes with CEO of Access Technology giving us an overview of their browser-based technology for mobile content delivery and selection. We hope you enjoy our show.
So I'm here with Mike Crimp, the CEO of IBC. Mike, thanks for taking the time today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so my first question is, what are the hottest trends of IBC 2018?
Oh wow, there's lots of things that are almost business as usual. We have a future zone here where there's 8K TVs. The next thing from 4K, that's due to be broadcast at the Olympic Games, I think, in 2020. So that's an amazing thing to see. And strangely, although it's in the future zone, it's actually here now. You can see it. So a lot of the other things that are in the conference, blockchain, AR, VR, artificial intelligence, all the applications, the implications of those things are being talked about in our content program.
That's awesome. And what would you say would be the most exciting thing this year at IBC?
The most exciting thing I haven't found yet is, honestly, if you go, there's 15 halls, and on those really massive, all the blue chip brands, you'll find some amazing things. But if I'm honest, you have to search around the corner to find someone with a small booth who in 5 years' time will be a game changer. In their nature, they're kind of virtualized software things. They're not black boxes that we used to see. The exciting things in the past are cameras and things that you could touch and feel. They're quite commoditized now.
Right.
So it's basically a guy or a girl with an idea somewhere that has the opportunity disrupt. I mean, I don't like the word disrupt because they're creative people and they're going to do something really good with it. So I haven't found them yet. If you two asked me on the last day, I might be able to help. My advice is anyone who here, just search out the startups because they're game changing.
That's awesome. Attendance is growing, obviously, with over 70,000 people this year. What would you attribute that growth to, if you could?
Yeah, so the show grows and grows and grows. Originally, IBC was a broadcast show, and so when I joined the organisation, it had a strategy that looked at screens. So imagine that was a TV screen, and then we said, hey, there's a film screen, there's a computer screen, there's going to be a mobile screen. Let's be agnostic and say it's all about content and how you monetize it. So embracing all those things helped it grow. But then also television was terrestrial, and then there was cable, and then there was satellite, and then there was mobile. And now there's something called 5G coming along, which I think will see us growing even more. Because although that's not broadcast, all the skills that are involved in broadcast, all the creative skills, will be enabled by a 5G network. So that might be AR or VR rather than just traditional 4K or 8K production. But that digital economy will be enabled for it. So I think our next stage of growth will come from that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's all the questions I had for you today. So thank you for your time, and it should be an exciting conference.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Today we're at IBC 2018 and we're talking about the new Blackmagic eGPU. Now the eGPU is a new box that has a graphics processor inside, but it also connects via Thunderbolt 3 that provides multiple USB outputs, 2 USB-C outputs or Thunderbolt 3, and an HDMI out. Now this eGPU has this graphics processing that allows you to use your MacBook Pro with Thunderbolt 3 and accelerate the speed when you're using intense applications such as DaVinci Resolve. It gives you great processing. It also charges your laptop while you're using it. It's really quiet. You can barely hear it. We want to talk about new DaVinci Resolve 15.1. The update was just released the other day, and it includes support for Blackmagic Raw, Blackmagic's new codec that is used in Ursa Mini Pro. It'll eventually be in the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. It's a great new powerful RAW codec where you can record compressed files that are raw, but they work in 2 different ways. They are pre-processed. They have a sidecar that allows us to put a LUT, and you have the raw file as well as that color graded file in the same file. It's like having 2 files in one. So what we have here is this was Blackmagic shot, Blackmagic RAW file, and right now what I'm seeing is the camera metadata that the editor is going to see, but when the colorist comes to do the color correction, he can go back to the RAW file. So the RAW file is there, as well as the color corrected version, all in the same file. So this really speeds up workflow, because when you're recording RAW, you don't have to make a copy for the editor. They can work off the same file, because the Blackmagic RAW files are accelerated with some pre-processing done, which allows the demosaic processing, allows the file to be played back even faster, and they're smaller files to boot. So this new Blackmagic RAW is an amazing new codec. It's open source, so we're going to allow everyone. It's not going to have any charges to license it. There's an SDK, and for more information, go to blackmagicdesign.com. IBC 2018, talking about the new Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. This is an all-new design built on the popularity of the original Blackmagic Pocket Camera, but this one is extraordinary. It has a full 5-inch touchscreen on the back. It has a ability to have 4 microphones built in. It also has full-size HDMI output. We also have a XLR input for audio. We have headphone and another mic input. It will record the Blackmagic RAW in the future. So you really get a lot in this camera. It's 4K sensor, and it's got the Micro Four Thirds mount, so you can use the existing lenses that you have. It's got a new battery option, which gives you about an hour of record time, and it records on CFast 2 cards, SD cards, and the USB-C port on the side here can allow you to record to an SSD drive.
At this year's show, we are presenting our Emerald Unified KVM Matrix Switching System. As you can see here, this is the transmitters and the receivers building out together a unified KVM matrix system. It is capable of 4K over IP extension and switching. You can connect multiple servers, including virtual machines such as Microsoft, Citrix, or VMware, and connect users, remote users, with the servers. So this is a central switch attached to the system. It's a regular IP switch which can be connected to the different receiver and transmitter units. And you can build out highly tailored KVM systems for your specific needs, such as post-production, live production, such as sports events, and many more.
In terms of the CPU options with Threadripper, you have a range of core counts and clock speeds, ranging from 32 cores all the way down to 12 cores. So depending on what you need and how threaded your application is, you have various options there to really dial in what you need to do. Threadripper supports up to 60 lanes of PCIe, so as you can see here, we can support a variety of PCIe configurations, whether you need multiple GPUs or PCIe add-in storage, things like that. Threadripper is a great option to really drive these content creators' workflows.
And we're here at IBC 2018 showing off a lot of different technologies, CPUs and GPUs. And what we're focusing on here today is a couple of different things. Specifically, Radeon Pro Render is a rendering engine that's been integrated into Maxon Cinema 4D for a couple of releases now. And what we're doing is we're using a technology that allows it to take advantage of multiple GPUs. So to just show you a real quick navigation here, we've got the Pro Render technology, as I said, integrated directly into the application. And we can, as you can see over here, we've got the internal Vega 64 inside of the iMac Pro, but we're also using two external GPUs from Sonnet that are each housing a Radeon Pro WX 9100. So we have three 16 gigabyte Vega cards all working in tandem. And when I use and manipulate the viewport inside of Cinema 4D, you can see that this progressive refinement render is taking advantage of all three of the same GPUs at the same time. So that's a very quick look at a couple of different technologies all working in tandem from AMD's Radeon Technologies Group.
Today I would like to talk a little bit about some of the Watson Media solutions that we're providing for the media and entertainment industry. So there's 6 key solutions that make up our media practice. Those range from video enrichment through Watson captioning, highlights, search, recommendations, and also a distribution platform. So I want to start with these 5 key products. First is the video enrichment solution, which is really the core platform product that makes up the building block piece for our other products. What it basically does is it looks at both the audio, imagery, as well as any textual inputs inside of a video, and then indexes that to produce deep metadata that you can use for other applications. So what you can see here is we've built a taxonomy of context, of the specific keywords and people, places, things that are being discussed in the video, and then all of that can be used for things like recommendation and search, which I'll show you next. One key element of this is captioning, the ability to both caption live or file-based assets as accurately as possible. The real differentiator with Watson services is the ability to accurately train for a specific language model. And this allows us to be hyper-local. So for instance, if you're in a city like Amsterdam, you want to be able to spell your on-air talent, any kind of locations or sports teams accurately the first time without error. And this gives you the ability to add specific words and instances to make sure that they are accurate on the first occasion. The next solution I wanted to highlight was our highlight solution. So what we do here and what we've recently done is launch highlight clipping for the World Cup in the US for Fox Sports. We've also done big events with both Wimbledon, the Masters, as well as the US Open, where we look at both not just where we highlight something like a live event, a live sporting event, but also we rank it for excitement level, and you can then search and index this across your favorite players, your favorite teams, and find highlights that are the most interesting to you. We also offer a deep search solution that's based on the video enrichment platform we saw earlier. Now that we have all of that metadata in storage, we can use that to allow you to do an open-ended search where you can type really any question and find really relevant material very, very quickly across large archives. This is great both for your viewers who might want to be able to find a specific show or piece in a show quickly, as well as for your production teams that may need to cut or produce new content in a rapid manner. The last solution I wanted to touch on is our video recommendation solution. With this, we've partnered with Iris TV to use the deep metadata that we've talked about to allow you to do recommendations in new ways. For instance, traditionally, genre and actor were the two key elements that allow you to do recommendation. Now that we have deep Watson-based metadata, you can also start doing recommendations on both concepts and topics that you really could not before. Things like not just the genre, but perhaps what was being discussed. Was it a feeling of love and loss, or was it about a specific city? It gives you much deeper ability to recommend content to your viewers in a way that will resonate with them, keep them engaged, and keep them on the platform.
And we make test and measurement equipment. And there are three very big changes happening in broadcast at this point in time. We're moving from HD to UHD, so payloads from 1.5 gig to 12 gig. We're also moving from standard dynamic range to high dynamic range. That's kind of a new science, and there are multiple UHD formats, and we're looking to support those with the product. We've also got another transition from the SDI world to the IP world, so another big technological change. Now, all these three changes are all happening at the same time, and Phabrix's answer to that is this product here. This is the QX. It's a rasterizer. It's equally at home working with 12 gig SDI signals and IP signals. And what I'm going to show you in a minute is the product in 4 different scenarios, and we'll show you some different features of this product. So this is the Phabrix QX rasterizer in use. This is the display. The product creates it, and it's like a multi-viewer of instruments. So this comes out of the unit. It's completely flexible. I can create a display any style. I can change the scale of various instruments. I can take it small, take it large. So a very flexible user interface with a very powerful system for recalling those preset instrument setups. What I'm demonstrating here is this. Looks a bit crazy, but that's jitter. That's looking at the jitter on a 12 gig SDI stream. And it's all part of a new feature called the SDI Stress Tool, software option for the QX. And this is big for manufacturers, big for anyone who wants to prove that infrastructure is good and to specification and meets the SMPTE standards. And this is working with any signals up to 12 gig payloads. It'll also work with 4x 3G. So it's the whole range of SDI standards. And it's got audio and video monitoring, as well as this physical layer stress tool. So that's brand new at IBC. So here we're demonstrating the QX, and we're demonstrating the high dynamic range features of it. As you can see with the label above, we're working with PQ, working with HLG, and at this show we're presenting S-Log3 and SR Live. So some new formats. So all those formats, including standard dynamic range, all supported by the product. And then there's a bunch of instruments which have been tailor-made to deal with high dynamic range and how you visualize HDR. And we can see a few of them here. So this display is showing with a special overlay that's giving us information about being in range and out of range. We've got some new tools related to the waveform and to the vector scope. We've got some, in particular, you can now configure your own markers, and those markers can indicate things like a particular brand's color and brightness range, and then you can use that to compare between shoots. So a bunch of features to do with HDR, and HDR at 4K. You can also obviously use it at 3G. This is the QX running again, but now it's in IP mode, and this one's running in 2110, which is that's the real hype at this show, and it's a reality, and it's what's coming now. So this is running 2110. It's running -10, -20, -30, -40. So we're doing the audio, the video, the ancillary data, and it's all PTP locked. And we're working with a bunch of partners. So we're working with Arista, Mellanox, Nevian, and Trilogy, and we're developing a sophisticated method of configuring within systems. So this is a brand new development, It feels the same as the other products, all the same sorts of features, but now in an IP world. So this is a true hybrid product. Use it in SDI, use it in IP. So what we're showing here, this is the handheld, the SX range. We've got 4 products in the range, and the new feature here, showing for the first time at IBC, is an AV delay generator coupled with an AV delay analyzer. And here we're showing that, so lip sync measurements. And we've got that working in conjunction with Lavo, and we're showing a demonstration here of interoperating with Lavo test patterns and Phabrix test patterns.
What we're showcasing here is our browser-based technologies. So we have a couple of TV sets. We're showing some partners. So here we have Android TV. And we have our NetFront browser, and what we can do is we're able to start that up, and we have a number of demos on here. One of the key partners I'd like to show you is a company called Zezen. They're a Chinese-based company that provide application stores for TVs. So this left TV is a company called Zezen. We also have a demonstration from another partner called Foxham. And what this does is it allows smart TV manufacturers and operators to provide very rich services to their customers, all based on the HTML5 technology. So here you can see they can do very, very nice, smooth user interfaces with lots of transitions and so on to be able to give the kind of services that consumers now are used to based on the kind of mobile phone user interfaces that they're used to. So we also have the ability to cast information as well. So, and another piece of the Access solution is to take photos, audio, and play it back on any device in the home. So this is another piece of technology that we're showcasing here today. And the final piece that we're very excited about is working with our partner EKT, who have launched a new set-top box into the market, which I can show you here. And this is based on a platform from HiSilicon. And this, we have a full demonstration with another partner called Oscillion in the booth next to us, and they're showcasing a full end-to-end service with digital TV and IPTV.